So back in 2016, I gave you a lot of coverage on the MotoZPlay, and yes, here it is again. Now, if you're wondering what happened to my gold MotoZPlay, the white and gold one that I had, after I started shooting some of the videos with that, I actually had a problem with the sensor. So I was waiting on Motorola to send me another one. So after doing the exchange process, you know, they kind of gave me the runaround. Not too much, it wasn't so much them. I just got a little impatient. I said, you know what, just give me a refund. And then I never purchased it again. And I had every intentions on bringing it back in because I really like the white and gold. But I decided to go with the unlocked version because some people said, hey, you know, why didn't you get the unlocked version? I said, you know what, when I catch a good deal, I'll grab it. And I caught a good deal and grabbed it, this unlocked version. And it is just like, if not even better than the other version, the Verizon version. I want to start where I left off before, which is battery. I've already done a full review on this phone. This is just me revisiting it again in 2017 because I think based on what's coming to the market, this phone is extremely relevant. Super AMOLED display, 1080p, Snapdragon 625, superior battery life to nearly every phone on the market, no matter what the cost is. And that's what I'm going to start at right here. So I have 43% left. And if you go here, you can see that I've been on cellular and I've been on Wi-Fi. Mixed bag, predominantly cellular, but Wi-Fi straight through. And then you can see awake and screen on and no charging. And I've got 43% left. Now let's take a look at the screen on time. 7 hours and 21 minutes. And mind you, I still have 43% left. Pause. Yes, that is a fantastic phone on battery. The way the Snapdragon 625 operates is just truly amazing. With certain devices, and also on the Blade V8 Pro, which I do have in-house still. It's going to be here forever again, but I'll do some videos with that one when I get a chance. With this one, the Blade V8 Pro definitely won't outshine this phone and won't beat this phone out in nearly every category. However, except for like build quality can challenge it there probably, but it has the same 625 in there and it gets fantastic battery too. But this one has a 3510 milliamp hour battery in it with a 16 megapixel camera on the back and 3 gigs of RAM. So this phone right here is just one of the best that has ever done it, coming from the Motorola camp. This phone right here is definitely better than the Moto Z Force because, you know, you get a bigger battery, and I believe that one doesn't have a headphone jack. Yeah, this one has a headphone jack. Kind of sad, but you know, same thing. The Moto mods and everything. This phone is definitely a phone that is to be reckoned with, even going into 2017. Now, some people who did not have this phone in 2016, I still encourage you to go out and check it out. It is actually a really fantastic device. Now, this screen protector on this tempered glass on here is actually from a Moto Z Force, because there aren't any official glasses for this for sale out and about to where I would want to purchase. There are tempered glasses for this phone. There are screen protectors for this phone, but they're kind of pricey. So I might do some research and jump into one of those again. But for now, I had some Moto Z Force accessories laying around because they do fit this phone, cases and things like that. And so I put this tempered glass on here. But I gotta tell you, the MotoZPlay to me, like I said, is still relevant. It doesn't matter to me whether we're in 2017 or 2018. If a phone is good, it's good. This phone outperforms a lot of other phones in a much higher price bracket. That's just what it is. And when I say outperforms, I mean day-to-day usage and things. Sometimes having a 2K display and all this is not good for you because a lot of those phones that are coming out possibly have lower packed batteries. So I don't know why OEMs sometimes today bring out a 2700 milliamp hour battery in a 2K display phone. I don't know why a company would do that. But some companies are doing crazy stuff like that, and they're bringing out small batteries with 2K displays, and that just doesn't make any sense to me. But this phone right here definitely is a phone that you can still be reckoned with. I'm gonna change the wallpaper. That's some custom wallpapers I had made. I appreciate it. Shout out to that person who hooked me up with that. So this is like one of my favorite wallpapers right here. But I'll change it back to one of the default wallpapers. Some of these bright ones. Oh yeah, these are cool. These Motorola wallpapers. But this phone is a Super AMOLED display, and it is a gorgeous display. Performance on here is just as fast as I found it to be on my other units that I had. Nothing going wrong with the MotoZPlay. For those that still have the MotoZPlay that said, hey Jay, I bought it on your recommendation, and you didn't see any videos on it, well, there you have it. I just explained to you in this video why I didn't have it. I had some problems with my rear sensor, and what was happening is the photos were blurry no matter what. And something was happening with it. It couldn't focus or something like that. So this unit is actually solid. I'm good. No problems with it. I'm super excited to have this phone back in the lab, man. And this is my daily driver at the moment. There's a lot of new phones coming out, and I do have something special lined up for you guys on Saturday, so possibly Monday. I don't know. I might break the cover on Saturday if I have time. If not, you'll definitely hear about it on Monday. So stay tuned for that. But I'm pretty excited to have the MotoZPlay back in the house. And I've had all the Moto Zs except for the Force. I passed on the Force. I could have got the Force, but I went with the Z instead, which is the thin version of this phone. I thought that one was really hot. This has adaptable storage, and right now I actually have just a 200 gig card. I think I have in here. I think I have a 200 gig in here. I'm not sure what I put in here. Let's go to storage. Yeah, I put a 200 gig in there that I had inside of one of my cameras. So that's why you see it labeled Canon. I haven't formatted it yet, but I can actually set this to adaptable storage. And I'm going to do that once I clear off this card and make sure I've gotten everything off it that I don't want on there. But I have 163 gigs available on there. So this is going to be just fantastic, man. I love phones with adaptable storage because it's the way it should be. Now this phone actually got Nougat, I think, and I don't have it yet. I've checked the settings and it hasn't popped up yet. I believe it has it. I'm not sure, but tell me in the comments if you have one with Nougat. I don't know, but I know that Motorola is going to release Nougat to these devices, so that's even better. You know, having the stock version over the unlocked version over the and I added those T-Mobile things right there. But having the unlocked version over the Verizon version, there's no difference. I don't see any difference, none whatsoever. Performance is still good. Everything is still the same. So it's a fantastic device. I just want to let you guys know I had it back in the lab, and I will be comparing this to some of the other phones that I've always had on hand here since this one has been out. I've reviewed a lot of phones since then, but the main one I want to put against this phone is the Blade V8 Pro. And I already know this phone probably will do worlds ahead of the Blade V8 Pro because this is actually in a different price bracket. The Blade V8 Pro is $229 and this is $450. So, but you get a lot more with that $450. This is one of those things where you get a heck of a lot more. Now, what I should do is put this against the Axon 7. Well, if you remember, I've already done that. So check back to the videos. I'll try to leave a link to that I did some comparisons with this phone against the Axon 7 and some other phones back in the day. But just to let you know, the MotoZPlay is a phenomenal buy even now. And it was on sale recently for refurbished units, and I definitely think you should grab one if you could find it on sale. Or it was on sale for $400. Best Buy has a lot of promos. I mean, I just can't get over this battery life. This battery life is it can't be compared to a lot of phones. It really can't. It just blows a lot of phones away. I mean, 7.5 hours of screen on time with 40% left. That's almost unheard of with a 3510 milliamp hour battery. I guess that's what I have to stress. This doesn't have a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, not even 4,000, and it gets better battery life because of that processor in combination. That's what it is. The Adreno 506 or whatever it has in here, the 625 Snapdragon, the 3 gigs of RAM, the 3510 with the battery with the stock Android. I added some of these Moto things too. They weren't there, but I got to tell you, this is a pretty solid buy. This is a good buy. So, and I know some of you will ask, so I'll just say it now in this video. And for those that watch all of the video, you'll know the answer to this because some people have been hitting me up, but they didn't know I had this phone. They were just kind of asking which would I choose. Some people have said, you know, hey, would you take the Mate 9 or the MotoZPlay? I would take the MotoZPlay. The Mate 9 is nice, but nothing beats stock Android in my experience, man. It's just for me, it's a better overall experience. I don't need a lot of the features of certain phones, but stock Android, just this overall feel of phone is really nice. But that doesn't mean that the Mate 9 is a bad purchase. It just means that if I had my final choice, and this has nothing to do with price either. Obviously, the Mate 9 I think is well worth that $599 price tag, but this is extremely worth the $450 price tag or $300 or however you catch it on sale at. If you look on Swappa, you can find these in mint condition for less than $400. But I try not to buy on Swappa. I've sold on Swappa, but I had one bad experience on Swappa and I haven't bought on Swappa since. But nonetheless, this is a good buy. So if you're wondering, Jay, which one would you take, the Mate 9 or this? Some people have asked me that, even though it's kind of weird because they didn't know I had this phone. But yeah, I definitely would take this over the Mate 9. The cameras on here are a little bit better than the Mate 9, especially the front camera. The Mate 9's front camera was a little shaky after a while. With extended use, I started to realize that the camera was a little washed out on the front. Now the rear camera on the Mate 9 is actually really good. But this phone right here definitely is one to be recommended. It shoots in 4K on the rear. Front camera is fantastic. Overall package on here is actually really solid for the price. So if you can get one of these, I still recommend it over a lot of phones out today. It doesn't matter that it doesn't have a 2K display to me, because this Super AMOLED display, I've put it up against my 2K displays, and I prefer the Super AMOLED more than the 2K display. So a 1080p Super AMOLED display to me is always going to trump a regular 1080p display in most cases. Now the Axon 7 Mini is a kind of an exception. It's not a Super AMOLED display, but it has an AMOLED display, and that's probably one of the worst displays I've ever seen in an AMOLED. I've never seen an AMOLED display look like. Now that's not that display is bad, it just doesn't look like an AMOLED display. The Mate 9 looks more like an AMOLED display, if anything. But this phone right here is definitely a phone that I've missed. I couldn't wait to get it back in the lab. I'm super excited about it. You won't probably see many videos on this. This is just my daily driver, so maybe if it's laying on the table or something, you might see it, but I don't plan on doing a whole bunch of comparisons and things like that. I'll give you an updated video on my camera though, probably later on. But other than that, man, this was my baby. You guys knew how I felt about this phone. I did so many videos on this phone. Now, granted, I didn't really care for this black version. And Motorola is actually having a sale right now where you get a free Moto Mod. You get the free JBL speaker with this if you just pay the $408 for the Verizon version or the $450 for this one. So that might be something that you guys want to look into at the recording of this video, which is February 17th, Friday. So, you know, I hope you guys are still enjoying your MotoZPlay. I am extremely happy about mine to have it back in the lab. This thing is a battery beast. I mean, shout out to Nighttech. He said that the Mate 9 was a battery beast. I don't know, Nighttech. 7.5 hours of screen on time with 41% left. Mate 9 isn't touching it. Not happening. No charge either. Not been plugged in, nothing. Straight decline. You can tell when a phone has been plugged in because it'll have a spike up immediately. You'll see a spike going upwards, letting you know that it was plugged in. That's what that means. Like if you see someone showing off their battery life and you see a spike going up, that means that it was plugged in. And you can see down there, no spike, and it hasn't been plugged in at all. So this battery life is legit. I know everybody who has this, and especially with the Moto Mod, I can definitely pull down 14 hours easy, man. I mean, easy peasy for real. I'm gonna pull down 10 hours. When I was telling people about this battery life, I was saying, man, I got 10 hours of battery life without the mod. They were like, no way. Like, why would I lie about it? So everybody who has this phone immediately says, wow, that battery life is a beast. I mean, a Super AMOLED display is one of the most gorgeous displays ever. And the fact that this one is 1080p, that's amazing. That's amazing. So I'm excited, man. This is my daily driver. I couldn't do the iPhone 7 thing. I had to put it down, man. I had to take my SIM card out of that phone fast. It's good and everything. I like it, but you know, I'll just do videos with iOS products, I guess. Right now, if you believe me or not, this video is actually being recorded with my iPad Pro 9.7, and I'm recording it in 4K. I don't know if I'm going to upload in 4K, or tone it down, but this is a iPad Pro 9.7 production in 4K. The one thing I like about iOS products, the autofocus. My Galaxy S7 is nice, and it's one of the best cameras. It's not the best camera, but the autofocus on that thing is horrible. So I'm hoping Nougat fixes that. The T-Mobile version should be getting Nougat. It's supposed to be rolling out today, but I don't have it on mine yet. I've checked both of the Galaxy S7s we have, and it's not on either one of them. So, but these iOS cameras definitely have fantastic focus. I can't wait to get the HTC Ultra in the house because, guys, when I tell you that camera is phenomenal, I didn't just say that in that commercial that they made that was phenomenal for nothing. I played with it. It is amazing, man. So, excuse me. I'll see you guys in the next video. This is the MotoZPlay returning for 2017. Take care.